Difference between healing and walking. All right, so healing is what happens south-facing. Here I am, the emperor of my life, facing south, and my job, basically, is to fulfill my destiny, which means to be myself, and to respond to all circumstances as I would respond to them. Westerners think that your destiny is an actual story or plot line. It is not. Your destiny will look different if your country is at peace or your country is at war. Your destiny will look different if you have rich parents or poor parents. Your destiny will look different depending on many things. Will not be different. Will be exactly the same. Will just look different. Because an oak tree, for instance, its destiny is to be an oak tree. And it will look different if that oak tree experiences drought. It'll be different if it experiences flood. It'll be different if it experiences fire, or lightning strikes, or kids breaking the branches. But it will not be different, because that oak tree's destiny is to be an oak tree, not become a palm tree, not, it's like, whatever comes, you respond as you would respond. If you're a starfish, be a starfish. If you're a dolphin, be a dolphin. If you're a strawberry plant, be a strawberry plant. And you do that no matter what comes. You live your response to your circumstances. Will you really not like it some of the time? Yeah, sure. But you respond as you would respond, and that is nourishment of destiny. Now, what often happens instead is that we do something else. We get a C- on something and we say, oh, who I am, being me, is actually not a great strategy. Actually, being me gets me a C-. I better work really, really hard to be like this. Or I better hide who I am and not really try because it's just going to get me a C-. Or whatever it is. We do something, we're dancing, we're just living our dance. And something whacks our arm and it hurts. And we say, I better not put my arm out when I dance anymore. And so this is injury and illness, because in Chinese medicine you can be you or you can be ill. That's the choice. Maybe hurting, maybe not hurting, but you. So as soon as we start like taking our injured arm and saying, I will never use my arm like that again, we're not fulfilling destiny and we're distorting ourselves. So this is what healing is about saying, okay, you can be you or you can be ill. How do I support you to come back, find the courage, find in water, find the regenerative hope in wood, renew the capacity to connect with the big heart, and to start letting the flower bloom in fire, understand how to be ecological, learn how to be in relation to the coming and going of things. How do I help you be you? So that you can live healthily. That's healing. That's facing south. Walking or facing north is a different thing. Walking or facing north is something that's also an important part of Chinese medicine, and this usually comes up when people have a terminal illness, or what might or might not be a terminal illness. I have some videos, I had some writings, a thing called Cancer as Teacher. Cancer as Teacher has a lot to do with this, about what happens when you face the strong possibility or certainty that you're not going to be here that much longer. That's the time of facing north. The face is now in the shadow. It's not about the world. It's not about healing. You're like, okay, I'm not going to heal. I'm actually going to die. What stands between me and the unity? Because when I leave here, I go back to the one. Carrying what? How far back to the one do I go? And then do I wander through? Like, there's a lot of different traditions about what happens after you die. Vaguely, from a Chinese medicine-ish perspective, just to keep it on common ground, or you can bring your own mythologies into it. The hood is like an arrow. That's what flies when we leave, and it's held in the bow of our Jing, of the water element. And when we die, the arrow flies. Where does the arrow fly? Well, where was it pointing while you were alive? You spend your life, that's where the arrow will go. You spend your life looking towards the unity, okay, that's where it will go. So facing north concerns itself with, where's my arrow pointed? Where's it headed? And how, when it lets loose to fly, how much crap is it going to be carrying? Which will significantly affect how far it gets. Because like, my father did this, and my mother did that, and and the entire United States is like this, and my people have been oppressed because I'm Jewish, and the Holocaust did this, you know, like, and we're all suffering. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it can get between you and God, you know? And there comes a moment often in terminal illness, but there also comes just a moment for some people. Nobody knows what makes this turning happen in the heart, where a person says, I am still alive, but I would like to, as the Sufis say, die before I die. And I would like to start the work of cleaning my heart and clearing my personality and clearing myself, because health is very distinct and individual and based in the Jing. If you're an eagle, to be a healthy eagle versus a dolphin, to be a healthy dolphin, and knowing what good is, because it's good for an eagle or a dolphin, and that when that eagle starts to face north, being an eagle actually is an impediment to the unity. So what it actually wants is to become almost a transparent eagle, to be less eagle identified. If I'm facing south, I'm going to live out being Jewish. If I'm facing north, I am light coming through a Jew. And the relationship between this light and that light is actually far more important to me. And I actually don't want my being a Jew to get in the way. I don't want my being a woman to get in the way. It's like, yeah, I'm a woman. But I'm actually like trans-Jewish, trans-female, trans-white. I'm not letting go of my responsibility for it when I'm walking here in this world. But I'm not wanting it to block my ability. It's like, I am Jewish. It's like, what about the unity? Do you get what I'm saying? It's not a dodge. I'm enough of an activist that it's not a dodge. But it often gives us a much larger perspective from the active for the activism also. It becomes not so much, I want justice, as much as like, what are we doing here? And what can we be doing instead? And can I come up closer to, when I'm from that place, I can come up closer to people and say things that I couldn't say because they can feel the light coming through. And it's really good for clearing hostility and many other things, woundedness. So walking is more about this. Walking is more about not, because there's a lot of things you can't actually heal. There's a lot of things that people try to heal, and they end up walking around and around, creating a deeper and deeper crater for themselves. And it's not until they stop trying to heal all the damn time. And they're like, I don't even give a shit if I feel better. I actually don't give a shit. It's not about feeling better. It's about getting closer to the real. And dropping what gets in the way of getting close to the real. And then whether it's cancer or other illnesses, including terminal illnesses or terminal seeming illnesses of the spirit, it starts healing because that break needed to come first. There are ever so many illnesses that in order to heal them, actually you need to die an ego death. You could put it that way. You have to die. You have to be willing to die to heal this on an ego level. You need to stop being your father's whatever. You need to stop being the oppressed something or other. Again, I'm not dodging the work that needs to be done, but you have to stop identifying as the oppressed thing and be the creature of light that you are. And then there's a lot more light, and then you can be like, here's where it hurts, but there's a lot more light coming in, and now let's get to work, but it feels very different. Yeah. So this is part of Chinese medicine, is the whole facing north thing, but practitioners often get obsessed with making everybody feel better. And sometimes it's time, more and more often I say, in a culture where more and more people are in terminal illness of the spirit, to go for the death instead. Because a lot of people are subtly suicidal, if you know what I mean. Like, they're not actually, but subtly they're suicidal. And it's better to take them up on it, because a person who's suicidal is a person who's willing to give up a lot. And there's a kind of radical courage, potentially, in despair. Okay. I love despair. It's like, what is it, Dario Fo, the Italian anarchist, talks about how he loves despair because it means that things can become possible again. Because when people really give up, there's ego death, there's opening.